Okay, see how this goes. So I'm going to be doing a live stream here for the Harbin Group, and we'll just see how it goes. Um, let's share the screen again. There we go. The second team for the Harbin Group, I'm not actually sure who it is, but we'll just go with Jefferson City because they're next on this list, not necessarily the actual list, but this is where they're at. Let me look at real quick. Okay, I found it. It is actually Aurora was the #1 seed. I just did Philadelphia first, so Aurora, and then Jefferson City, Anaheim Keystone. Okay, so we'll do Aurora. Aurora run the 62-36 class, replacing the 108-37 class, and you lose Peyton Loudon. Clayton Farmer's not who Peyton Loudon is for sure. You bring back your bigs. Tar was a little undersized playing at the small forward, but he had 1.8 steals, which is nice. Trey Bradbury is going to really help them, a 6'7" guy. I feel like he slides right into the small forward, makes them legitimate there. And then uh, you got Dylan Morero and Eric Craig. Craig looks like he could play a little bit, but he's a little small, so I'm not sure if he wants to play him there or not. But Bradbury's that guy. He needs to shoot a lot. Maybe Tar moves to shooting guard. He wasn't the most efficient. I'd love to get his shots down, but he's not a good passer either, so that makes it a little hard. Romero, maybe. decent numbers. But now you have a guy in Bradbury. You just got to figure out your guards. If you can have two defending guards that can pass a little bit, get it to your big men, because Miller's a decent scorer too. Um, that will help. Uh, Griffin Thomas did all right. Actually, Aaron Madison, he was backup power forward, but he had good splits. Thomas just had a plus 4.9 at backup small forward. I'd love to see him play a little bit more. Um, Not the passer, but that's okay. But they got some stuff to figure out. I like Philly a little bit more than I like them. Next up, we have Jefferson City, who brought in the 22-14 class, replacing the 72-17 class. And they lost Vishal Harbin and Benjamin Lewis, two starters for them. They've been pretty feast or famine the last couple of years, but I really like this class they brought in. Shlomo Wright is a guy that can play big, help them be a little bigger with Barry and Kim. Not a scorer, but he can pass great. All three of these guys can pass, and Simpson and Peach can both score pretty well. I'm interested to see how Peach plays. Um, I think he could probably play some shooting guard, maybe move Hearns to point guard. I'm not sure. Or maybe you put Peach at point guard. So you got a couple different options there, but I'd say they're going to go a little bigger and see what they can do. Hearns is a good scorer. He shot 57.9% true shooting, so that's going to help them. But they're losing Benjamin Lewis, so it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Let's go to Anaheim, the War Beagles. They brought in the 221-218 class, replacing the 58-80 class, and that's just tough. They weren't that tall. Omar Williams was their center. He was 6'8", and then they lost a 6'1" and a 5'11" guy. You look at their guys they brought in some height, but they lost all their scoring. So I don't know where they're going to get scoring. They might struggle a little bit this year. Webb's going to have to do some more. And who knows off the bench? You got Jester, who played one game and did okay in 13 minutes, but you can't really trust that. Maybe Lance Neighbors gets a chance. I'm not sure. They're really going to struggle with scoring, but they'll be bigger, and that's probably what they're going to focus on this year in recruiting. Let's look at Keystone. Keystone brought in the 103-73 class. FLA Hawk brings back three starters. They lost two guys. They weren't the best guys, but they were solid for sure. And then you look at his class, he brings in height. So if Olsen and Kuhn can pick it up in the scoring department, I like this team. Benjamin Thompson, he didn't score a ton, but he was very efficient when he did, and he can pass. I like him a lot at the small forward position. So maybe the power forward position, but Bourne could definitely play there too, and he wasn't too inefficient either. So I wonder if they can handle a little bit bigger of a load. I guess we'll see. But I like their team overall. Let's move on. We got Boston and Garland, two rivals, and then we got San Jose, Carlsbad, Tacoma. And then Bismarck and Montgomery. So let's start with Garland. Garland brought in the 147-183 class, replacing the 243-211 class. You lose two NA start guys, and then you lose your one senior. But that guy was a big cog in Ernesto Rozier. They did bring in some decent height, but not big enough. Tyler Hendricks is going to have to move to the center spot for sure. And then you got to figure it out. Do you want Diallo Bauer, who can score a little bit? Definitely rebounds well, but he's not a passer. I like Craig Scott with his passing chops, and he's not a scorer, but he can pass. He can rebound a little bit. Potentially he's a small forward. Potentially he's a power forward. And yeah, you got some guys. Aurelio Harrelson is going to have to step it up more. He shot 59.2% true shooting last year. He needs more of that. You know, you don't have an Ernesto Rozier anymore, so it's going to be a little more difficult for them. You look at Boston. Boston brought in the 74-72 class, replacing the 165-81 class, and they lost Devin Young. He was their leading scorer, 59.6% true shooting. You look at their incoming class, Oscar Johnson, he can score for sure. 55.8, 20.4 points per game as a 6'1 shooting guard. I'd really like to see him play a little point guard and just let him go. You know, I don't see. I mean, Alec Lax is good, okay, but I think he's more of a shooting guard. I'd love to move him, and we'll see. Devin Young was the only starter they lost, so that helps a little bit. Um, and then you got Racine and Boyd. Both of them decent scorers, but they can pass, they can defend. So you got a little something going here. Let's look at San Jose. San Jose brought in the 209, 210 class, replacing the 70-32 class, and that's just a big loss for them. Ellie Tolliver, Jesus Henderson. They have that junior class, but that's it. And I don't really think their freshman class is very good. They did get some height with Caleb Vinci, and he can actually shoot a little bit, but it's just going to be tough for them. This is just not a good. You're losing all your big men. You're going to be smaller, and Blaze Redwine can only carry you so much. So that's tough. Let's look at Carlsbad, who brought in the 116. Oops. Let's see if this works. I already did Keystone. Okay, Carlsbad brought in the 116, 124 class, replacing the 219, 221 class. One senior starting. He wasn't a scorer, so that doesn't hurt him a ton. They could bring back 5 starters, and then they bring in a guy like Rohan Christensen, who can really score 59.5% true shooting. I really like him. I like Emmanuel Thompson, 56.1 from the power forward position as a 6'5 guy. I think both those guys can definitely play a little bit. I'd love to see them both enter the starting lineup. Maybe shooting guard, small forward, maybe point guard, shooting guard. I'm not sure because, yeah, Taft is okay, but I mean, this team was really. I mean, this is a great class to build on for Carlsbad. I like it. I like those freshmen. I think Ruan Christensen could really help them a lot. I like to see Christensen potentially play some point guard. Maybe Thompson too, but he's got some options. He's got a little height, so that helps for sure. Elms was really good for them last year, so you're going to keep him there at center. And then you just need more guys that can pass the ball a little bit, that aren't going to turn it over. You got Davidson as one, maybe. Taft was okay too. Lloyd and Harris, they didn't really pass. They didn't really rebound. Harris was really bad. I thought Lloyd at least played a little defense, so that's helpful. But there's definitely some holes. I like the way this team's headed though. Tacoma brought in the 92 111 class, replacing 254 237 class. 3 guys in the NA, and they brought in some scorers. So they're not the best scorers, but Nicholas Murray can score 18 points a game, 55.8% true shooting. Maybe he's a shooting guard. Maybe he's a point guard. I don't know. But Hunter Jones is solid for sure. It looks like Hunter Jones got some help with all 3 of these guys. They can all pass a little bit, even if Murray has way too many turnovers. And they can all play defense. I like Murray's defense. I like him at shooting guard, even though he's only 6'2". And then maybe you put Savion Brown and just take out the 3-pointers for him. Or Ethan Jones at small forward. All right, Bismarck. Bismarck brought in the 188, 171 class, replacing the 246, 251 class. So a good step forward for them. They did lose Tyler Ross, one starter, but he wasn't amazing. They brought in some height with Bryant Jefferson. That's a great get. The guy can pass. The guy can rebound. The guy can defend. That's what you want. That guy goes right into maybe the power forward, maybe even the center spot. And having a guy like that can pass and set up guys like Jack Brown and Michael Christopher really helps. Maybe it's even small forward. Who knows? Parker and Benton. I like Benton. He can score a little bit. I wonder if you can control it a little bit. He's good at three. He can pass. He can defend. So maybe him. And then Montgomery. Montgomery brought in the 113, 155 class, replacing the 185, 210 class. This was a couple last week uh, recruiting for a Batman W, but he did a good job. He loses one starter. He was an okay player. And then he brings in three guys that can. I like Colby Gonzalez. Maybe he plays point guard. He can pass. He can score a little bit. 58% true shooting. He can defend. So that guy could potentially play point guard. Cyrus Williams isn't a bad player for sure. So, but he had 4.2 turnovers. I think he's just playing opposition at point guard. He's going to need some scoring, and I'm not sure where he's going to get it, but he's got some building blocks. Looking at this, I think it's Jefferson City and Aurora, and I mean Aurora might have a hard time because they lost a lot, but Jefferson City and Philly. I'm gonna go Philly here. I really like Philly's class. I like what he's building there. He has an upgrade. He brought back all his starters, and it was a decent team. So you add Chance Parrish to Moran, and I think that leads to a playoff berth for them. So hopefully you guys like that. I don't know. Just wanted to try the live stream, see how it worked.